of Awakening. My name is Holly Hawkins, and I am so glad you're here. I have been waiting to record this particular episode for quite a while because it is something that hits all the boxes as far as I'm concerned for our healing and transformation. Here's the reason why. Anyone can do this. It's very easy to learn. And not only easy to learn, it's easy to do. And it needs no special training. Now, you can do training if you wish, but you don't have to in order to get started with it right away. I also love it because it's accessible all the time and that you don't need any special tools or props or the perfect environment to do it. And not only all of that goodness, one of the reasons I love it is because what I'm sharing with you today is something that has personally made numerous changes for me in my own life, and a few of which I'll speak about today. Now, before we get started, I would like to invite you to please like the Awakening Airwaves podcast channel. It's put together by a whole group of us where each month we're doing one episode, and we would all deeply appreciate it. And if you could like and subscribe no matter what platform you're on, including YouTube, and perhaps even like this episode if it resonates with you. Thanks so much. So now let's dive in with a few questions that I'd like you to open up to. So first of all, have you ever found yourself replaying a conversation over and over again in your mind, and it actually feels impossible to just get out of the loop of it? You're stuck there, like the proverbial hamster wheel, just keep going around and around with it. Your mind just keeps circling that topic, or maybe it's an interaction with someone else and it just won't let you go. Or another idea would be that perhaps somebody hurt you, and it could have even been years ago, it could have been recently. You might have done a lot of work or healing work, forgiveness work, understanding around it, yet you still feel that there's a charge, there's something unresolved around it. Or perhaps you feel frustrated or stuck in a situation that could be at work. You could be struggling in a relationship, and that could be a friend relationship, a professional relationship, a family one. You could be carrying resentment to somebody, or simply feeling weighed down by life. How many of you can relate to any of those? Maybe all of them, right? So if you wish, I'm going to invite you to take a moment to write down what it is that just came up as I was asking you those questions and what you can relate to in those questions above. There may be something that just popped right in for you. And jot down also, what do you wish was different or easier or energetically released? Okay, and if you want, you can just pause this video or the audio and just take a few notes. Okay? If not, carry on, and you can always do that later. So now, as you've been thinking about that, what if there was a very simple practice, one that is so simple it can be learned in minutes, that has helped people literally all over the world experience a greater sense of peace, forgiveness, compassion, emotional freedom? I could go on. So it's this that I want to share with you about today. And what we're going to be exploring is what I consider a beautiful, elegant form of healing and transformation. And it's called Ho'oponopono. Now, you may have already known this based on the title of the episode, and perhaps this is brand new to you. And for a lot of people who've never heard about it before, they say, what? And it's a long Hawaiian word. We'll talk about the origins of that in a moment. So I know that can sound a little bit confusing, but you might also be somebody who's actually familiar with Ho'oponopono, and you may have practiced it yourself, or you may have just heard about it and really have never practiced it much. If you are familiar with Ho'oponopono and perhaps had some experience with it, all of us would love for you to share what your experience was, what you saw shift and change with it as you used this technique. Just pop it in the chat. We would, again, love to read. And as you know, there's so many similarities with what we go through in our human experience and we all love to learn from each other. So if you share an experience you've had, you're sure to inspire somebody in the comments. So thank you for doing that. Now, most people have a vague understanding that Ho'oponopono is largely about forgiveness. And forgiveness is certainly part of it, absolutely. But many who practice Ho'oponopono begin to experience it as a way of clearing old memories, emotions, and energetic patterns. And what I love most about it is the real shift that happens as you work with Ho'oponopono is that the shift is actually happening within the person who is practicing it. So as I mentioned, for many people, Ho'oponopono, they've discovered that it's more than just a forgiveness practice. It's actually said that it's a way of cleaning the energies that we carry within ourselves. It's a very gentle method for releasing emotional burdens, transforming our relationship to difficult experiences that we may have had, and also returning to that greater sense of inner peace, calmness, and sometimes acceptance and forgiveness and understanding. Now, personally, I've worked with Ho'oponopono off and on for decades, and I have found it to be absolutely one of the simplest and most effective tools available when I find myself stuck in the loops of old emotions or strong emotions, challenging circumstances, or situations that feel difficult to release. You know, the ones that are sticky that, like I mentioned before, you may have done a lot of work on it, but it still seems to keep coming back. Hard to resolve. So now, if you've been a client or student of mine, or if you've been following me for some time, you actually might find this surprising. And the reason is because this is not something I actually speak about very much. And I don't even know why, but it is one of my foundational go-to energy practices. And what I truly love about the beauty of Ho'oponopono is that it doesn't require complicated rituals. It doesn't require years of training or any kind of specialized equipment. It really only asks us to become willing to soften, willing to release, willingness to change and be open, and willing to allow love to enter places within us that may have been closed for a very long time. Now, before we explore what this practice actually is, I do want to honor its origins. Ho'oponopono is a traditional Hawaiian practice whose name is often translated as to make it right, or to correct an error, or to restore balance. Now, historically, Ho'oponopono was practiced within families, within communities, as a way of resolving any conflict, healing relationships, and restoring harmony once again. The gatherings were often facilitated by a respected elder, a healer, or some sort of spiritual leader, and they would guide the participants through conversation, through accountability, forgiveness, and reconciliation. And then in the 20th century, there's a Hawaiian healer named Morna Nalamaku Simeona. And she developed a modern adaptation known as self-identity through Ho'oponopono. And her approach shifted the practice towards what we're more familiar with now, is that individual healing and personal responsibility. And this modern form is what later became widely known through a psychologist named Dr. Hugh Len. Now, if you've heard about Ho'oponopono, you may have likely heard a really remarkable story by or about this psychologist named Dr. Hugh Len, who worked with patients in a ward for the criminally insane at Hawaii State Hospital. According to the accounts that were shared by Dr. Hugh Len and others, rather than conducting traditional one-on-one therapy sessions with the patients there, he actually sat in his office and reviewed the patient files and practiced Ho'opono within himself without seeing the patients. As he worked on his own perceptions, his own judgments and reactions and memories that arose while reading these files, changes reportedly began occurring within the ward. Patients improved, restraints were being reduced, staff morale increased, and eventually the reports are that the ward closed down. While this story has truly inspired millions and is widely repeated in books and in seminars, even like in this podcast right now, many details of it have not been independently verified. So I just want you to know that. But you can easily do a search on the internet to read more of the reported details about what he did, because I'm just giving you a high-level summary. So if you're curious, do an internet search for it and you'll find out more. But really what's more important than anything else is Dr. Hugh Len's underlying principle of what he taught. What he said is, when we heal what is occurring within ourselves, we can experience profound changes in how we relate to the world around us. So whether taken literally, symbolically, or somewhere in between, this story has helped bring Ho'oponopono into public awareness around the world. So now, perhaps what you've been waiting for is exactly what is Ho'oponopono. It's made up of 4 very simple statements, and I guarantee you've said all of these statements in your life perhaps many times. We're going to gather them together here. These are the 4 simple statements. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. Very simple, aren't they? Now, you can say them in any order. It doesn't have to be in the order I said them. You can say them really however you want. You can say them out loud. You can say them in a whisper. You can say them inwardly. You can say them just offering that up to yourself. You can say them when you're thinking about or being activated by a situation that you're in the middle of or recalling from the past. So whatever you wish, whatever's best for you in the circumstances you're in. So let's take a minute and just look a little tiny bit more deeply into each of these 4 statements. First one, I'm sorry. So what you're doing here is not self-blame. It's rather you're acknowledging that something within your experience is asking for healing, awareness, or transformation. Depending on what I've been doing it for, I've often thought also, I'm sorry can even apply to, I'm sorry you're having this experience, and you're offering that up to yourself. Okay. Second statement is, please forgive me. This is an invitation for release. You could be asking for forgiveness from yourself, from life itself, from another person, from your soul, or simply from that aspect of you that's still carrying some pain or energy around whatever has occurred in your life. Thank you. And we all know about gratitude and how powerful it is as a pathway for healing. So when we say thank you, we could be expressing gratitude for the healing that's already underway. And we don't always have to know exactly what we're grateful for in the moment, but we can still say thank you because we're trusting that transformation is occurring maybe even before you see it. And the fourth and final statement, I love you. As I'm sure many of you are aware, love is truly the highest vibration. So we're offering that high vibrational experience of love to ourselves, to perhaps someone else, or the situation you've been in. And so love, as I've already mentioned, can be directed to you. The situation could be a memory, could be your inner child, another person, or even just generally life itself. So how does this work? In this more modern use of Ho'oponopono, as I mentioned earlier, it's often described as cleaning. I think of it more as energetic clearing. And maybe that's, a subtle difference there. But we're clearing out, we're giving energies that are present an opportunity to change and shift. And the idea behind this is that we all carry memories, we carry emotional patterns, beliefs, wounds, judgments, energetic imprints that influence how we experience our life and the people in it. And when we repeat these 4 phrases over and over again with attention and sincerity, we're not necessarily trying to change another person or force them to change so that we get what we want. We're cleaning or energetically transforming what has been activated within ourselves. We are releasing the emotional charge. We are shifting our frequency. We're creating space for peace where maybe there was once contraction or upset, any form of lack of peace. And often when our inner state changes, our outer experience of the world changes as well. So in a few moments, we're going to practice this together so you can get a feel for this. But I do want to take a moment to share one experience that I had using Ho'oponopono, because I can say beyond a shadow of a doubt that I know it made great and truly unexpected shifts for me. Now, this happened quite a while ago. It happened almost 20 years ago, and it truly is an experience that I won't forget. So way back then, I had a deeply upsetting experience with a work colleague who also happened to be my superior. And without going into all the details, because it's not important, let's just say that something happened that was way up there with one of the most upsetting experiences of my life. I was blindsided, I was verbally attacked, and it was unjustified. It was inappropriate. It was done publicly. And my experience was that it was incredibly destabilizing for me. I truly felt shocked. I felt hurt, scared, and confused because not only was this person a superior, I did also consider them a close friend. And because of that, because of our working relationship, I still had to interact with them. But the truth is that I became a different person after that experience. And I was very hesitant, very gun-shy, if you will. And I truly didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to change. A lot of the resources I had just didn't help. So I didn't know how to heal or change after that. And I kind of felt like I don't know what else to do except Ho'oponopono. So I started. And I was never engaging with the other person around it. It was something I just did quietly to myself as often as I felt emotionally activated or my mind started circling it. And so initially I was doing it to drown out the way my mind kept going over and over and over it. I gave my mind something else to focus on with the Ho'oponopono. And I would feel calmer. I would feel more optimistic. I just felt like I was coming back home to myself as I stayed focused on saying those 4 phrases. Now, here's the really surprising thing about what happened. As I was doing this practice of repeating these 4 phrases with Ho'oponopono, more focused on that specific experience with the work colleague, my superior, What happened was within 3 months, I think it was, peace came to another relationship that had been in my life that had a very serious break in it several years earlier. There was suddenly a massive positive shift in that relationship, not the one that had recently happened. And I knew at the time that the result of that shift came from me focusing on the Ho'oponopono, because truly there was nothing else being done to heal and shift that relationship. For me, it was in the past, it was going to be the way it was, and there wasn't anything that was going to change. But the fact that suddenly it changed and went in a more positive direction was shocking, and in a good way. All of our relationships that we can bring a sense of harmony or peace and acceptance, even neutrality often is a win. So it was really a wild experience to me. So what happened to the original relationship that I mentioned, the one that brought me to really focus on Ho'oponopono? Well, the truth is we never returned to the friendship we had before. However, we were able to find a new peaceful coexistence as colleagues. We were able to continue on with balance and respect. And at that time, and as it's continued over the years, that felt like a very positive, truly monumental and satisfying place to get to. I didn't need to, nor did I want to go back to the relationship we had had before, yet I was very pleased with how the relationship transformed and got into better balance once again. So let's take a few moments now to open up to experience Ho'oponopono together. Now, if you're driving or doing something else while you're listening or watching this podcast, you can come back to this experience at another time. Do your best. And as I've shared before, this is truly so simple to do. Even just listening along, doing the best you can with it based on whatever is happening in your life, you'll be able to get it and you'll easily be able to practice on your own. So for this experience, we're just going to take a moment to settle in together. And if you can, I invite you to find a comfortable place or position, whether it's seated, lying down. Maybe remove yourself from distraction. Maybe turn sounds off on any technology you have just for a few minutes. And again, if you can, I'll invite you to allow your eyes to close if that feels right and if you're in a safe place to do that. And we'll get centered by I'm going to invite you to take a nice gentle breath in through your nose, and at the top of your breath, slowly release it out through gently opened lips. And again, breathing in through your nose. And out through your lips. And check in and drop your shoulders, relax your jaw. I'm going to invite you to bring to mind a person or a situation, a memory or experience that to this day carries some emotional charge. It could be something you're currently in the middle of. It could be something that's from the past. Whatever came up for you as I was talking before. And this doesn't need to be the biggest issue in your life. It could be, but it doesn't have to. Simply choose something that feels ready for some shift or healing today. And allow yourself to see it, feel it, tap into it. Notice what emotions might arise for you. Notice what sensations that you feel within your body. And without trying to change anything, simply open your awareness. Because no matter who else is involved in whatever you're remembering, and it could be just you, You're not doing this ultimately for the other person. Ultimately, you're doing this for yourself. You are offering healing to the place within you that is still energetically, emotionally, mentally carrying this experience. And imagine holding this person, circumstance, or memory gently in a beautiful sphere of light. And as you continue breathing, begin repeating silently or out loud, "I'm sorry." "Please forgive me." "Thank you." "I love you." Let's say that again together. "I'm sorry." As we do, we're acknowledging any pain or hurt, misunderstanding, or the burden you may have been carrying. "Please forgive me." You're inviting release, freedom, allowing whatever it is, whatever's ready, to just soften. "Thank you." Extending gratitude for healing that perhaps is already starting to occur beneath the surface, trusting the process. "I love you." Offering that love to yourself, sending love to the situation, or to every part of your experience that has been asking for healing. "I'm sorry." "Please forgive me." "Thank you." And "I love you." And as you do this, you can fall into a gentle rhythm, like waves moving through your heart, like water, cleansing and clearing what no longer needs to be carried. I'll be quiet for a moment to allow you to continue on your own. And then open to notice what you're feeling. Does anything feel different? Perhaps lighter or softer, maybe more spacious. And it's okay if you're not discerning anything in this moment. Ho'oponopono is a process. It's not always a one and done. It's perfectly okay, and you can trust that something is shifting. A seed is being planted. So now I'm going to invite you to just take a nice final deep breath in. And as you release it out, feel yourself returning fully to this present moment. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. And I'll ask you to check in. How are you feeling? What did you notice? We just practiced it for a very short time. And if you have any feelings that came up that you'd love to share, we would all love to read what you have to share in the comments. Feel free to add this in there. And the way we just did this was similar to like a guided meditation. And this is absolutely not how you have to do this. This is just how I chose to do it for the podcast. But you can do this as you're driving your car with your eyes open, of course, or doing some of those daily tasks that might not take up as much as of your mental load, like doing the dishes, folding laundry. You can do it and let it become just part of that background thinking process where you're turning your attention not just to the words, but to bringing in those energies into who you are. As I mentioned before, I absolutely love to do Ho'oponopono when my mind is getting too much in a loop that I don't want it to be in. It could be worry. It doesn't necessarily have to be too much of a loop around someone or something else. It could just be, again, like I'm really worried about something. And when I feel like that's not serving me, then I will start practicing Ho'oponopono. Now, for me personally, this is another little personal anecdote that I've found with Ho'oponopono. My mind tends to get busy when I'm going to sleep, or if I wake up in the middle of the night. It can really get going. It can get very busy, sometimes creatively, sometimes for things that aren't serving me very well. So, anyone else have that happen to them? So, if I find my mind is wanting to overly fixate on something that is keeping me upset, emotional, not sleeping, I'll drop into having my mind focus on Ho'oponopono. For me, it creates calm with these beautiful energies. And if I'm awake at night and having trouble sleeping because I'm worrying, I find that it doesn't take long before I've drifted off to sleep. So speaking of energies, I do want to share my take on Ho'oponopono. I've touched on this already, but I'd like to say this specifically. As you're saying these 4 simple phrases over and over again, you're literally immersing yourself in these energies or these frequencies. They're not just words, they're energetic vibrations. So I imagine myself bathing in the energies of love and forgiveness, gratitude, and apology. All of these are very powerful, transforming frequencies. These happen for you whether you're repeating these phrases for yourself, whether you're doing it for someone else or for a situation. You are always being bathed in these incredible energetic frequencies. And again, you're also giving your mind something very positive to focus on. So I would love to hear how you feel about Ho'oponopono. If you start practicing that, come back to this and find this episode again and let us know. What are you noticing? What shifts are you seeing in yourself, in relationship to other people? What else in your world around you is shifting as you're practicing Ho'oponopono? Now, before you go, I do have a very special invitation for all of you, and it's coming up in the next few months. It's the 2nd annual Awakening Conference, which it's a weekend of master classes. So this amazing masterclass weekend is being facilitated by the hosts on Awakening Airwaves and Reiki Radio podcast. You're invited to attend 9 master classes. They're going to be online, and they're designed and created to support your path and to deepen your understanding, as a practitioner of the energetic arts. Now, during this live 3-day event, you will have the opportunity to learn from renowned experts in the field of Reiki, Akashic Records, astrology, Tarot and Oracle, and other energetic arts. All of the facilitators bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to the table, providing you with valuable insights and techniques to enhance your practice and to guide you through powerful exercises. So get ready to expand your knowledge, taking your process of awakening and your energy practice to the next level. Now, the link to find out more and to register you can find in the description below. This will be happening in September. Whether you are a seasoned practitioner or just starting out on your journey, these master classes will provide you with valuable tools and insights to help deepen your connection, lift in your frequency, and unlock more of your true potential. And you'll notice if you go to the registration page that there's also an option to register for the All Access Pass. And when you do this, you'll be able to, first and foremost, join the live classes. They're from September 18th to the 20th. You get to access the recordings of each of the master classes after the weekend of events has concluded. And then as a bonus, since this is the second one, you're going to be able to access the recordings from last year's event, the first time we did it. You'll have access to a full 18 master classes in total. So much richness there. So if you'd like to find out more about that, click the link in my bio to read more about it. Sign up to watch the classes live or sign up for the All Access Pass. So if you can't make it live or you'd like to have them to watch indefinitely, you'll be able to do it with the All Access Pass. And if you'd like to find out more about my offerings and my sessions, you can find those links in the show description below as well. Thank you so much for your time. I love you all. Many blessings to each and every one of you. Bye-bye.